going to start off with a prayer. Heavenly Father, I just come before you and I thank you for this beautiful, courageous, confident, successful group of women that you have blessed me with. I thank you for the community. I thank you for the conversations that are about to take place. And Lord, I just ask that we would open ourselves up to you. I pray that you would alleviate any nerves that we might be feeling or strengthen us to lean into them even further, knowing that something beautiful can take place when we choose to use our voice honorably, to tell our story, to give testimony, to give witness to somebody on the other side of this conversation who really needs to know that they are not alone. God, I pray that you would just bless this conversation, that your hands would be on it, and that we would surrender it to you, knowing that this is so much bigger than our own personal platforms, our own personal brands, our own ambitions, and our own mission, God, but that there is an assignment attached to this conversation that is greater, that can surpass our lives, that can surpass generations to come, God, and that can make an impact that not only impacts future generations that come after us, Lord, but also all of eternity. I thank you for your Holy Spirit that has been present this entire time, Lord. And I just pray that, Lord, that for the women who are sitting here on this couch with me, God, that this would ignite something new on the inside of them, that this would spark new conversations, spark new relationships, and revelation for who they are and what they are purposed to do, and most importantly, like who you are calling them to be in this next season, as well as who you are calling them to leave behind. I thank you for the encouragement that comes from this conversation, and I pray for every voice on the other side, every heart, every listening ear, that we do not take for granted the influence of our voice on our story, that we do not take for granted just the power of our voice and the responsibility attached to what they say for all of those who are listening. So, Lord, I pray that you would prepare everybody's ears who's on the other side of this conversation, everybody's hearts, and that they would be ministered to or encouraged directly by your Spirit alone more than they are by us as people. Lord, I thank you and I praise you in Jesus' name. Amen. Here we are at the very first of many Sister Circle conversations. And it's a special day for me specifically because it feels like a full circle moment. But this is going to sound so corny. It feels like a full sister moment too. um, my hope and my desire from the very beginning, my vision was like genuinely sisterhood. Like the very beginning of this was like, we're all after our purpose, we're all after these ambitions, we all have these goals. And, you know, I'm surrounded by so many women who just have this heart to like just be the best, most healed, confident woman of God that they can possibly be while they exist on this earth. And a part of my story is recognizing that that doesn't happen on an island. That doesn't happen in isolation. We fulfill our purpose through relationship, because our purpose is at the end of the day relationship. And so to be sitting alongside these women today is so special to me. And for those who have been with me for, you know, the duration of my journey and even building and cultivating the sisterhood, it feels really weird to be on the other side of an answered prayer that I feel like it felt like so far out of reach not even that long ago. And, you know, continuing to take my steps forward and seeing the women who have stayed and endured with me and have been riding with me from the very beginning, like Jasmine, but then to also just welcome new women, new faces, new stories into the space that are like so aligned, so clearly meant to be here. It really is by the grace of God. So I'm excited to introduce this conversation and these ladies who call themselves members of this beloved community. And yeah, we're just going to hop right into it. And I just want to open the floor for you guys to just let us know. Who are you? What do you offer? I'm just kidding. Just kidding. What do you got 1 minute, 60 seconds. That's an inside joke for those who've ever been a part of any in-person event with me. That was an inside joke. But let us know, like, who are you and why are you here? Answer it however you want.
For the people who don't know that are watching.
I'll go first. So I'm Jasmine. I'm the founder of Organically Glow and Glow Social Club. So this is an online nutrition and functional medicine practice. And on top of that, the Leadership Lab, which is for health practitioners and coaches. And so I am here for sisterhood. I am here to be surrounded around women who really make the impossible possible. Because our dreams, every single one of our dreams, are so big, our vision is so huge, and to be around people who actually can understand that and who can push you towards that instead of, what we always hear, oh, that's impossible, oh, you just got to give up. We actually are pushing people forward. So that is what I'm here for, is for the sisterhood.
I'm Vanessa, aka V the Plug.
Hands off the mic.
Oh shoot, here we go. I'm not used to using just the mic itself, but so I'm Vanessa, V the Plug on social media. I am a podcast producer and in the media outlets of Hollywood, and I've been in that area for about 10 years. And so navigating my career through the industry has been challenging for me to be seen. And so what I'm really here for is to share my story and to make more of an impact in the media space, telling our stories, women's stories, mainly, and helping those bring their voice to the forefront. So I'm kind of in a transition to figuring that out a little more in depth, which is why I joined this community, to just have the sisterhood, the support, and to just be more clear about the direction that I want to go into as I make, my next step. So I'm just very excited to be here and meet Natalie, and just today has been an amazing experience.
So I'm Desiree Mariah. I am the founder of Soft to Touch Lifestyle. It is a lifestyle brand that is dedicated to the strong friend and showing the strong friend that it is okay to live a life of ease and to live the soft life in every season of your life, no matter what you're going through. I'm here for sisterhood. I'm here because I believe in your vision and I believe in my vision and all of your visions, everybody who is sitting here. I think that, like you said, Jasmine, everyone has such a big vision. So to understand that your dreams are possible and to be around people who also see that their dreams are possible, it's very motivating.
Hi, I'm Quanisha, and I am a transformational coach and trainer. I started Bravehearted really for people who know they have a vision, they know they have a purpose, but they're stuck somewhere in the middle. And so I believe everybody has a vision, they have identity, they have purpose. And so I like to call myself a VIP coach. Everybody is very important for those three reasons. And so that's who I am. And I'm here because, like everybody said, for sisterhood, I recognize that there is a space in my own vision, my own purpose that I couldn't get to without others, like Nat was saying, without the sisterhood, without the push and the empowerment and encouragement from my sisters. So that's why I'm here.
Hi, I'm Judith. I am a brow artist and also a salon owner of the Beauty Connection. On Instagram, it's actually the Beauty X Connection. I am also a licensed financial professional, and what I'm working on is combining the two. I want to be able to help all beauty professionals and small business owners know that even if they don't have a 9 to 5 with benefits, that there's still options out there for them. There's still ways to protect their family. There's still ways to invest and have a retirement plan. And I'm really excited because it's my first week in the program, and today has been amazing. And I'm here because God put me here. I've been asking, I've been praying to put me in the right places. And even when I would see groups like this, like online, on social medias, I would say to myself, like, oh, like, I would like to be there, and like I'm here right now, and that just means so much because I make myself believe that I don't belong in these circles when I know God wants the community for me, the sisterhood, and I constantly ask for him to keep me close with him and build a relationship with him and surround me with people who are also believers. And that's really important to me because my journey just began with Christ. So I need to stay close. Anything that doesn't belong with him, I ask that he shoos it away. And so knowing that I'm here, I know it's because he wants me here. So
Wow, that was good. Thank you for sharing. I wasn't expecting y'all to give your professional answers, not even gonna lie. I was like, oh. I mean, it's true. It is who you are, and it is why you're here. Um, but you're saying so many good things. Like you said, like something about how you would see these things and you like convince yourself you don't belong. And like one of the first like sub headlines I was playing with is Women of Network is where the unconventional can belong. The anomalies of the world, the people who no matter where they go, they just feel like they just can't quite perfectly fit in. And I'm like, there's just a whole bunch of misfit, or you can fit in everywhere, but you don't belong anywhere, you know? And that was like my story.
How I felt in
growing up.
high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you fit in
Exactly.
every crowd. It's like you're that friend who would like friend hop, right? Like friend group hop, and you're just like walking around. Yeah. That is hilarious.
I would
'cause
be at the
that-
tree in the I'm not gonna name, the race or like who I was with because like that there was like a section for every culture,
Yeah.
every race, and I'm
mean,
I'm all
it's-
over.
It's real.
Yeah.
And I think that's so funny that that's a common experience of the people who are attracted to Women of Network. But it was like it was the vision I had because that's who I was. And it's so funny you attract who you are, right? And so I love that you said that because I really hope that this is your first time meeting everybody today. You've only been in the program for a week, and now you're sitting here today having this. Like we've been connecting a little bit more, and I know Q is a little bit newer as well, but you integrated so easily, and it's so rare to find those spaces that were like custom made for you. You know, where like you can walk into the room and it's like, oh, I could really see myself belonging here. I guess what I'm curious about is like, what was the decision? Like, what was happening that made you decide this is the sisterhood I belong to? Like, what was that moment for you? Because each of you came in at such different seasons of Woman of Network. Like, the way we have evolved, the way the community, even online community, Lord, I'm so thankful you have rode with me through this, Jasmine. Like, there's some of the ladies who have just like stuck with me strong since the very beginning, because the way that it has evolved and transformed and shifted so many times. And I'm like, this is just what it's going to be. This is just what it is. This is just what it's like to build a community. There's a lot of evolving. There's a lot of shifts until you find your feet, and then you sustain for a while, and then it evolves again and it shifts again, and all of you are stepping into a space where you're building community. And so I'm curious to know, like, what was happening in your world that made you decide? Like, how did you know, especially for the women who are watching this and are like, I just want to find a community. I don't like, there's so many coaching programs out there. There's so many, like there's so many options for everybody. I don't think we're for everybody, right? Our community is not for everybody. But what were like, how did you specifically know, oh, this is for me? Like, what was the moment that you knew?
For me, it was prayer. When I would see you online praying, and I remember actually specifically, I was on my couch and I told my husband, I said, "Look, I showed him one of your prayer videos that you had," and I was like, "Gosh, like I can't wait to be able just to pray that way." And that's really what got my attention. And so anything that I do, like moving forward, since I've been baptized, I make sure that it's God centered because it's God, my husband, the kids, like it goes down for me. That's the way like I tried to like prioritize everything, and knowing that this was more than a sisterhood, God is putting us together, and that's what I've just been asking for. So for me, it was definitely the prayer.
How long between you seeing that prayer video? Because you just joined a week ago. You opted into Resurrected, which was 6 weeks ago, right? Yeah. My God. It's wild. Like, what was the time frame? Because I'm like, I don't know when you saw that video. Like, there was just, you came into Resurrected and then it was like, you were like ready to take the step. And it was something I wasn't even expecting.
Yeah, so from when I started following you was probably mid-year, last year around maybe September, October, when I was making my way from moving from Pasadena to Riverside. I was trying to see who I can like be connected with, because in LA I have a lot of like other networks that are like completely different, but I just knew everybody out there. My whole life was out in Pasadena. So moving this way, I saw your page, and it wasn't until, so if that was September, it wasn't until like January where it was really like sitting in with me. And then probably a month before Resurrected, I was just like snooping on your page and I was just like going down everything. And then I was like, man, like I really, like, I don't know if this is like for me. And I mean like the coaching part, because I wasn't at a space where I even knew where I'm going with my own business, that I was like, okay, like I want to join, but I'm sure I have to have like my ideas in place, right? Before I'm like, hey, help me. You're like, with what? And I'm like, I don't know. So it just like, that was like my timeline though. And so when I went on Resurrected, I just felt more connected. And then I saw your other posts and I was like, okay, like I'm ready for this. And now I'm here. That was all this week. No.
Thank you for sharing.
For me, I will say that the way that you pushed me, that is what really made me sign on. And to start all in what was going on like in my life, I was tired of myself. Honestly, I was tired of setting these goals and then the goals get to the deadline and there's no completion. I don't even know where I'm at. It was no clarity behind what I was doing. So when I made the decision to join All In, I made the decision because I was tired. I was sick of my own mess, you know? So yeah, I needed that clarity and I needed the direction, and I knew that you were the person to push me to push myself. You were going to push me in the direction of pushing myself. So yeah.
Jasmine's been here the longest.
Yeah.
I don't even know, to
I'm
be
like,
honest.
I don't even know where to start.
Because there's so much, like in the beginning,
So
it was
much.
probably different than like,
Oh yeah.
than what it
Yeah.
is now.
Mhm. Definitely.
Oh my God, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah. It has evolved so much in like the best way possible. I mean, I met Natalie. I mean, long story short, we actually went to the same high school.
No, did we? We did
Yeah.
go to the same high school.
Last year, right?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, crazy.
We didn't even meet there.
No. So crazy. But I just know Natalie, and just being in her presence, and she just had such a big vision, and I've never met someone else who matched my big vision. And when I told her, like, she was like the first person I ever told like my like what I actually want to do with Organically Glow, and she just was like, do it. I can see this happening. You need to do it. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, no one has ever said that to me before. And so just knowing her and her heart and her passion behind having these big visions and actually trying to make it happen, like that's what actually led me to like, yeah, I definitely was like attracted to that. And so I started going to your brunches. I went to the first one and I was like, wow, like she's really doing this. And those were so much fun, I have to say.
Bring them back.
So much fun.
Bring
So
them
much
back.
fun.
So much fun, yeah. There was a lot going on. And it was like always like, you know, pretty last
You
minute.
can only laugh.
Yeah, exactly. But like it's really, I feel like it's really shown like the type of person you are because you put yourself out there and you're not scared to fail. And that's something that actually like I truly feel as me as a person, like I am constantly just going, and I will not give up. So having someone in my corner that pushes me to keep going is everything. And that is why I continue to show up and be in your presence. And then just seeing the community that you are building and have built is honestly like it's like the vision like you that we talked about like years ago is here. It's coming to life. Yeah. I'm like, I love you.
Wait,
Gonna make me cry.
Can we know what these brunches were, how it came about?
The brunches.
Like, we want
Oh,
the
y'all
insider
want to
scoop.
know about the brunches? What you want to know? The brunches were honestly, they were so. How did it start? The brunches were phenomenal. I will, if I say so myself.
French
the brunches
toast?
really were.
Powdered sugar?
It was like there was like always a celebrity caterer. We had get really renowned guest speakers. Like the venues were beautiful. It was big. It was it was very lavish. It was a lot of glam. There was a lot of glam and glitter. Like from the very beginning, I've always valued an experience where it's like, even this is me, like the setup is me being very humble and like checking myself. Like, Natalie, stop, you're going too far. They don't need all that. Like, it's doing too much. You're already spending too much money. And it's one of those things where like in business, when you create these experiences, it can get really expensive really fast. And they were an investment to throw on. So I'd like have custom gifts, like woman of gifts every single time, especially for a VIP. If you became a member, every single brunch, you got a new gift, you know, every single experience. So my members, people who were members as a part of the brunches were like, you can tell, like they're a part of the sisterhood. They got the special name tags. They have the special things. So it was like the aesthetic and the design, like it was such an experience. It was such a vibe. And I knew that there was nobody at the time, nobody even close to the area who were doing brunches that way. We sold out every time. We sold out tickets every time. Now, did we sell out all leading up to the same week of and like only selling 8 tickets for the rest of the time? Like, did it take a minute for like selling out the day before? Is, you know, God was really testing my faith and like, are any of these tickets gonna sell? So it was a beautiful experience. I had a partner at the time, somebody I still adore to this day, super powerful speaker. And we had this like vision of, in the very beginning, I always had this vision of creating a multi-generational community of women. I value community so much, but what I was taught from the church is that there's a lot of communities where everyone either looks the same or they think the same. And for me, it's like, how do I create true diversity in its truest form where the most important things about life we stand in agreement on? Jesus is king, right? Everything else is really there's a lot of room for debate, but in those conversations and in that experience and that exposure, that's where expansion takes place in every way. And so it was always a part of this vision, just to create this experience in this community. And to be honest, what had really happened was we scaled too hard too fast. And I could say so much. My story around it has changed. And I've been like debating on how to even speak about this publicly and if it's something that I want to, because those who know, in the past I had a very different team, and a team who worked their butts off. And there was a lot of tension during that time behind the scenes that people weren't seeing. So it's like we'd have chaos and tension behind the scenes, and there was just so much stress, so much there was just so much details. And we were like, the first brunch, I had the idea for women of like maybe 6 weeks prior, literally got the download, and then set the date that got another download. Oh, it's a community. It's an in-person community. And then I'm like, cool, I want to host a brunch. I put the date on the calendar for the brunch like 4 weeks from the day I had the idea. And then I called this woman that I knew, this amazing, phenomenal, just woman of God that I heard her speak, and we had like mutual friends. I called her. I said, hey, I have this idea. You want to do it? She's like, yeah. When? I said, in 3 weeks. She's like, oh. And I just like, I ran with it. And then they were supposed to be every month. And then they like every 4 weeks out, but then it turned into every 8 weeks out. And so it went from like monthly to bi-monthly, because we recognized just the weight of hosting those events. Yeah. And because I was just so accustomed to running on full speed. I was so accustomed to like just the nitty gritty hustle and grind. Like I knew hard work. I did not know rest, which is why I advocate so hard for harmony and for alignment now, because that taught me how much of me was misaligned. And so when I look back on that era, I still have such a vision for those experiences. It has evolved and has matured a lot, for sure, both in the strategy behind it for the actual business, but also in the heart and the vision behind it as well. And the biggest lesson that I learned, and the reason why I laugh, is because I ended up in the hospital at the very last brunch for 6 days with heart inflammation. So like the last brunch we had, like, I'm not going to name drop. We had just the best guest speakers. And like, it was phenomenal. There was like 100 people in the room. We had sold out and some, because we had to make room, want to make room. It was going to be such a phenomenal event. And
I want to know. Name drop.
You'll know later. I'll tell you later. This is like, you want to join the inner circle and get the tea, you gotta sign up. Sorry. You can sit with us, but there's a cost. And so it was like one of those days where so many things were happening at one time. The Holy Spirit was moving so powerful. It was incredible. Like, what the movement that I tangibly felt and experienced God do in the room that day was physically, I could feel it in my body, the Holy Spirit at work, even through every like word that was spoken, every moment of prayer. Like there was so much where I was like tangibly shaking because of what God was doing. But then I'm looking to my left and my right, and I'm seeing all of the chaos that's happening behind the scenes. And I kept thinking in my mind, is anyone else in this moment, or is it just me? Like, what is actually happening? Like, is anyone else present to this moment that, was a part of the team? And I think what I realized, like, 48 hours after that day, it, like, so much had unraveled from then. And I ended up in the hospital 24 hours later, like, literally a day later. And I rushed to the hospital. I, like, wake up and I tell my husband, like, take me to the emergency room now, because I thought I was having a heart attack, and I was terrified. And I get to the hospital room, and I'm telling them, I was like, this is what I feel, and it's painful, and it's increasing in pain, and my heart is like, I could feel it like beating out of my chest. And they get me in to take an EKG, and they're like, you're not having a heart attack. I said, why does it feel like it? Why does it feel like my body's having a heart attack? They gave me like the good pain medication finally. They tested me, and my Trentanol was high, which means there was inflammation in my heart. They were trying to figure out, I was back and forth. So they sent me home, and they shouldn't have, because they didn't know the answer. And then I ended up having to go back the next day, because it was happening again, and it was significantly worse when it was happening again. So I was like even in more pain. It was like so painful. And I remember like I stayed there and I made them make me stay there. I walked out of that hospital not having an answer as to what was going on. And the lesson, so many lessons from that, but from that, like that point on, everything unraveled. I had to take a step back. Like there were certain changes that needed to be made. And like the biggest lesson that I learned is like I was so ill-equipped to be a leader. And we scaled so hard so fast, but I didn't have the leadership skills of myself, of my family, and to even manage a team that was in a way that was honorable and necessary and fulfilling and aligned, where I wasn't making decisions. I wasn't making decisions in alignment. I was really making decisions in survival. So incredible things took place, but there was such a high cost of that level of success where if we would have kept going, oh my gosh, I don't know what would have happened, to be honest. Like, it's one of those, like, when you see these crazy, like, downfall stories of people who, like, reach such a level of success and then it's just, like, they, like, they commit suicide or, like, their marriage, they get a divorce and all of these horrible things just start to get exposed. I now have so much more compassion for seeing that because I'm like, that easily could have been me had it not been God, because I would have been in it. We would have grown. We would have had more and more brunches. We would have filled out whatever rooms, and it would have destroyed every other area of my life, so many of my relationships. So I saw that moment as honestly like it was a saving grace for me. It was God's hand on my life. Like, I'm slowing you down, and he put me on bed rest for like 3 months, and anything that was high stress, anything that could bring my heart rate too high was so dangerous for me while I was recovering that like everyone around me was like, Nat, you have to slow down. You can't do this anymore. And I had like 2 babies. I think I was like nursing at the time still. Like my kids were so like they were babies. And so it was like managing all that. I'm like, oh my, I look back, I'm like, Lord.
That sounds
Lord.
wild.
Yeah. Shy's behind the scenes. I wish she was here because Shy is like, she is a vault. she is a vault. Shy was an answered prayer to me in so many ways because oh my God, I could cry. My makeup. She said, don't mess up the makeup. Because there were so few people that I could talk to because I wanted to stand in integrity and honor my team. So it's like, who do you talk to when you have this level of responsibility? You can't talk to the people who are a part of your community. You can't talk to, like, who can I actually talk to? And like, Shy was one of those people who made me feel like, oh, I'm not going crazy. Like, I'm not going crazy. It's fine. Like, I'm not going crazy. And like, just having like one person, it was like.
I will say that's kind of how I felt when I saw your page. And this is my story on how I became a part of Women of Network. I was sent a post from your page, and it was actually through Jasmine,
Jasmine is the plug.
who sent a post to my sister, and then my sister sent a post to me. And at the time, I was kind of navigating, going from working with a production company to transitioning into, I'm like, freelancer life, social media, podcast producer world, which I'm still navigating. And I was just searching for more. And I didn't feel seen in, entertainment kind of per se on my value, you know what I mean, of what I brought to the production radio set or whatever. I didn't feel like I was getting paid enough. I didn't feel like I was getting the feedback I needed, and I didn't feel like there was a lot of women in that space. I didn't have any mentorship. There was like a few that I really wanted mentorship from, And I was always praying, like Judith, I was always praying, and I was always searching for, you know, a woman of influence, a woman that I could talk to, like Shy. I was just like searching for my Shy, you know, it was like, where, you know, and so when I saw what you were about, like, I think a few things that I read was, are you a woman who wants to be seen or who feels X, Y, and Z? I don't know. Some of the things on your page was just like being seen and being valued. And I was like, yes, I feel like I want that, number one, but I also feel like I can add value to other people and impact this space that I'm in a different way. And I just needed that like verification, and through my prayer, I was consistent, likely asking for that, and then it showed up at the right time. And I reached out to you through voice messages. We went back and forth, and it just kind of went from there. And I think it's been such a valuable space, since I've been a part of Women of. And I'm still growing, guys. I'm still here. I joined at the beginning of January 2020 or March 2025, and I'm still writing my story. I'm still figuring it out, because we all don't have it figured out, and that's what you need community for. I really value community, and I look for valuable people, and I think everybody that I've met, has that. And I think it's hard to really, it's hard for us because we really want to make an impact in our, whatever we're doing. And a lot of us, or a lot of the world, we're searching for money to make us feel like at ease, in some of the things that we want. And that's been a part of my story, is like, I'm always reaching for that next, check, or I want this house or this in the future. And we were talking earlier, me, you, and Tatiana, who's not here, but what were we kind of saying? If you want to kind of like, we were kind of talking about how you said,
yeah.
she did a punchline, and it was amazing.
Oh my goodness. We were just chatting about how, and just like stepping into the business world, so often people are focused on the income. But in reality, what we're all focused on, and why we are most likely attracted to you, is we want to create impact. And so when we focus on the impact, the income always follows. So that is like the most important piece. And that is why, like, you have to have a bigger why than just the money, because that is not going to get you far. It will a little bit, but then if you don't have the passion, if you don't have the purpose, if you don't have that bigger why, then you really don't have like a driving force behind the impact that you're trying to create, if you're even trying to create impact.
And then one thing to add on that is also, I looked for, in like the media space and entertainment, is I looked for people of power. And you look at these people like they're going to help you, like these celebrities or people, that have so much, and you think they're going to help you on your journey, but they might not be aligned for what you believe in or for what you want. And so it's hard to navigate when you're not fully supported in the space that you're in at that time. And so I feel like that's full circle when you think about the money and the power and kind of like your impact on what you really want. So
Yeah, back in December, I did a vision board, and on one of the notes that I put on there was making an impact while making an income. So when you said that, I'm like, it's like always all connected. Like everything is always so connected. Like, not being a coincidence that I'm here, or that where I moved to that brought me here. Like everything, like all the dots start to connect. And hearing you say that, I was like, that's exactly what like I envision for 2025. Making an impact, because that is the most important thing. I could not sell anything to anybody if I didn't believe in it. And then I don't even know if that's something I would wish that I could do, because I just know I wouldn't feel right as a person. And God sees your heart, so.
So many reasons why I said yes. I think when I first met Natalie, it was completely like random. I came with
I
some,
wasn't even expecting it.
like so random. I ended up in Riverside. I was like, oh, hello, Natalie.
Yeah.
And then was invited back to an event. And I think for me, there was like a number of things that everybody said that resonates. But one of them was I was in a space where I needed a community outside of like my community. Like I needed my space.
Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from North Carolina, but
Okay.
I live in the Pasadena area, and I needed a community outside of a community. I lead in a lot of spaces. I'm training and coaching and like all these things, but I needed a space where I could just like go be, and not have to lead. And I think with Natalie specifically, somebody said it, and it's a word that's gone around, but like being seen and known. And when you experience life and all the things that life comes with people and relationships and betrayal and all the things, being seen and known is, I feel like, one of the first things that gets like, no, nobody else can see me, nobody else can know me that way. And so I really appreciate like the intention and the like just how grounded Natalie is and how grounded the community feels because of the intention to be seen, to be known, to be championed. And so that's why I said yes to being all in. Like,
Yeah. There's a similar pattern.
What is it? I don't know what to say. I think what I'm working through is like even reflecting back on the past brunches, I'm recognizing how almost uncomfortable it feels to be for me to be seen this way, where I'm like, I don't know what to say. I'm my own capacity to be seen intimately by women is something that it's just an area that God is consistently stretching me in. And I never wanted to have a women's community. I ain't gonna lie. This was not what I wanted for myself originally. But as God continues to kind of heal my identity as a woman and expose what that means, what comes to the surface often are all of the experiences I've had in the past that impact the way I view sisterhood too. So like sisterhood is a corny word for a lot of people. Like they don't like it. It used to be really corny to me when I hear like, oh, sisterhood, like that's kind of corny. Like, can we think of another name? It's a little more cooler, got a little more swagger to it. But it's becoming like, so, like for me, it just means something to me now. Like to me, it's not just a word. It's like something that I've craved since I was a little girl. Is just genuine, intimate relationships with women who actually see me, that I can actually belong to. And like the revelation I got when I started Woman of Network, the network portion of Woman of is like you haven't found the space you belong because you were called to create it. And God was like, there's not a blueprint for you because you are the blueprint. You're the one. You're the trailblazer, and that can feel lonely at times, but it doesn't have to. It just takes more courage. It takes more willingness to be fully you so that the people who are meant for you can really receive you, And so like you guys saying these things, I wasn't expecting these answers. I'm not even gonna lie. When I asked the question, I'm thinking you made the decision because of something that was happening in your life. And like a lot of the confirmation that you got was less about me. And I do believe that it is less about me, but to be spoken and encouraged, like to be spoken into and encouraged is like, it's new for me too. So like when I challenge you guys to be seen and to receive it, like just know it's also coming from a place where I call it a sisterhood because I don't want to create a space where there's superiority that has to happen between me and you guys, but it's something that's like we're walking through this thing together. I'm stepping out in courage because I know I'm walking with you all who are also stepping out in courage. And it's like I'm being tested as you are being tested. So that was, thank you. Thank you for, confirming. Thank you for confirming in me that what I'm really intending to do is actually taking place. And I think that's what's so surreal to me is like there was such a specific experience that I wanted to create for the women who found themselves, on my Instagram page even, or like reading my content or in this community. And to like hear that that's exactly what took place is like, whoa, thank you, Lord. Thank you, ladies, thank you for choosing me and each other,
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of, in the world, it's like when people put themselves out there and be allowed to be read like a book, I think that's what you exactly did, is like you put your story out there, cried, did all, you went through the emotions and it was genuine. So I think it's relatable. And I think there's a lot more people out there that are in a job or career or even in a family dynamic where they feel they're less of in their relationship or their career or job structure, whatever it is. But I think holding space and showing up in your value and your power is where, people really connect. And what has connected all of us is what we were kind of searching for and, evolving still. But yeah, I think it's cool. You're doing amazing.
I didn't plan this, okay? I didn't plan this.
We all did it.
I think just going back to how all of us were, giving you a lot of love and just how we actually got attracted to you, but it's what you bring to us too. So like that's what we really get from the community is like that encouragement. What we literally just gave you, like that's what you give us constantly. So that's kind of what we're mirroring back to each other. And which is amazing because in a season that I'm in right now, I'm expanding just my vision and really stepping into as not only a practitioner but also a leader and helping other health practitioners and coaches become leaders too. And so you being the leader helps me see that for myself too. And that's like truly what like this whole community is about, is just like expanding each other and our visions and just thinking bigger and finding ways and strategies of how to actually bring that to life.
And understanding that like it is a weight to carry is exactly why I always tell you thank you for your yes. Thank you for your obedience, because you continuing to step out in that obedience, you're gonna make me cry. I can't look at you right now.
I know, because I'm crying a little bit.
You're gonna make me cry. But you continuing to say yes, showing me that yes brings you to clarity, yes brings you the confidence, and yes brings you all the questions that you have right now. It's the obedience that is going to bring you those answers. So thank you for your yes, because truly it is you that makes this possible. It is.
Girl.
You can speak on it.
It's like it's one of those things where like I'm trying not to cry and mess with my makeup shot, but it's gonna come. I know, Shy, you should have been in on this, girl. It's like it's one of those things where I have learned in the spaces that I'm in that there are some burdens that you carry between like you and God. And like it's crazy because I was just reflecting on this in the last like the CEO media day that we did. I was reflecting on it in my videos, and I was like, I remember during that time, like during those brunches, I remember like we would be like 2 weeks out and 7, 8 tickets have sold. And we are planning in faith for 80, right? 2 weeks out. And I'm putting everything I have, all of my time, all of my resources, all of my energy, and like, you know, being a freelancer for marketing in my previously, it paid me well. It paid me well, and I was good. And like all this money that I had just had from just like a really great financial season was being poured, like just poured out into these brunches in faith, right? And it was like COVID happened, like my timeline. I don't remember. Something. All of these things. Yeah. All these things were happening in this time frame. And like I remember laying in bed, and I remember my husband, he would see me like staring. Like my whole family would be around, like making dinner. And I would be like standing at the edge of the table, just like super not there because I'm so stressed and I'm carrying this just weight of like, God, like, what is happening right now? Like, what are you asking me to carry? And I would just have to like endure like the relationship, the tension, just all of the tension that was taking place in so many different areas of my life. And I remember him saying, babe, I've never seen you like this before. And like, I would keep going. And then months later, we have another brunch. And I would lay awake at night and I would think about like reading Ecclesiastes, you know, how depressed and how apathetic he got. And I would think in my head, like, I understand what it means now when Solomon had the world, right? He had all of the success, all of the things. And he gets to this point where he writes these words, everything is meaningless. And I'm like, Lord, is this what it is? Is this what life in faith is supposed to look like? Where you just work so hard and you have to, like, there's never comfort. Like, you're always stepping out in faith. I'm always at the edge of my seat. I'm always just like faithfully hoping that you're gonna come through because I'm just going into these places that are so unknown. There's so many risks that are being taken. Like the responsibility of leadership, the heartache of leadership, you know, the pain that comes with leadership that people don't talk about. I'm like, is this what I'm called to? Is this what I'm called to endure? Because the second it gets chill, you're gonna call me to another place and you're gonna lead me to another wilderness. And then I have to start the process over again. And every time I get like just a little breath of air, like, you know, and I look back and like I don't think I had enough voices to tell me that like, Natalie, you're doing a great job. You know, like what you're doing is working. I had so many voices telling me the opposite. Like so many voices telling me like after every brunch, okay, here's all of the things that went wrong. Here's the things that we could have done better. I had so many everywhere that I looked, like I'm not, you know, spending enough time with my kids. I'm not keeping the house clean enough. I'm not having enough day. Like there's so like everywhere that I looked, there were so many voices just constantly reminding me. And like I'm crying and I'm having this moment because like what a full circle moment this is for me, where I'm like, oh, like me, they say you create what you desire, right? What you desire, if you're coming from a place that you have it and you're operating from overflow, then you can create it. You create the love. You create the intimacy. You create it because it's in you. You just have to tap into it. And it's a full circle moment because for me, there's another level of evidence and integration that's happening for me right now because I'm like, I created this level of like outpouring and encouragement But to be in a seat now where it's being mirrored back to me is something that I didn't realize it was. I didn't realize it was a prayer or like a desire I had. Like it's a desire that I had forgotten about. It's a desire that I had left behind of needing that affirmation from, from other women. And to have it like the prayer at the beginning, in the beginning of our huddle, I was like, Lord, I pray that you would wake up dormant desires, And I'm like, what a crazy dormant desire that has been woken up in me because I didn't realize how much there's a level of sisterhood I still crave.
It reminds me of the scripture. It says, God will not be mocked. Whatsoever a man sows, that will he also reap. And I think like in what we do, kind of like what you were saying about like when we make it about the impact, then the income will come. And like the things that we desire, when we make it about sowing from like a genuine, authentic space, like what we desire will also come back to it. Like it's gravity. Like when we sow love, when we sow selflessness, when we sow generosity, like it comes back. God will not be mocked. And it says that the second part of the scripture says, if you faint not, like don't get weary in your sowing, is what the scripture says. So yeah, like you've been sowing and you might have been weary at times. And you kept sowing and we keep sowing. And yeah, God won't be mocked. Like you can't mock like his principles and stuff.
I resonate with that so much, just because it does get hard. Like, I'm gonna be so real. It gets so hard sometimes being an entrepreneur and being a business owner and trying to be a leader, be the best leader, right? It's difficult. And I feel like so often when people do try to step into this space, just focusing on the money, right? They fall off like so easily. And so just remembering that you are really just building and creating impact. And on top of that, the income will flow in. It will happen. Like God always provides, no matter what. And during those times though, when it is getting hard, when it is getting difficult, having someone to turn to with just the community you have created, that is what I have been craving. Because it gets lonely having an online business. I am on my computer 14 hours a day, right? By myself in my house. And I'm like, what am I doing? Like, it's so isolating sometimes. And we do have to do that at times to be a leader, right? To actually serve our clients. And so it always just comes back like, okay, well, if I am pouring into someone, like, where do I turn for that? And so having a community like this is exactly what I have been searching for and craving in every one of you guys. And it's just so amazing too, just seeing how all of us, like over the last couple weeks, so much has shifted in us. Like even on our last call, when was it, Wednesday?
Yeah.
That was so good. Yeah. And just like for me personally, like I felt safe to be vulnerable. Like I am very closed off.
Oh my God, that's so true. That's crazy.
Yeah. And I noticed it after the call. I sat there and I was like, Jasmine, you just did that. Yeah. Like, what? Like, so naturally, though.
Yeah. It felt so natural. Yeah. I'm remembering the first call we had. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Wow. Look, that's crazy.
Yeah. Crazy. Love that.
You okay, Judith?
Yeah. Yeah, really, it's I feel like what your story was before is mine now. I just feel so bad because I have my kids, and sometimes I'm sitting at the table and I'm not there.
Sewing. You're sewing, girl. Where it's
Sorry.
It's okay. Take your time.
being present with my kids, because like you guys said, at the end of the day, you know, nothing, all of it's meaningless if I didn't have them.
Can I speak into you? Do you have the space for it? So, they say that mom guilt never leaves. That's what they say. And I call that BS. I call that a lie from hell. Because guilt is not from God. And here's what I had to recognize in my entrepreneurial journey, because the truth is, like, I am such an ambitious woman, and I've always had the dream of becoming a mom. It was the first desire I ever had, was to be a mom, even as a little girl. And becoming a mom tests your faith so much more emotionally than anyone could imagine who hasn't been in those shoes yet, or who hasn't walked through those shoes. And the faith that is tested the most is, how much do you really trust God with your children in the areas that you will fall short, in the areas that He's calling you away from them for a little while? You know what I mean? And it's one of those things where I believe it's a constant stretching and a battle, and there's seasons for everything. There is a season where He may call you, Judith, this is your hustle and grind season. I want you to put your head down, and I want you to trust the love and the care and the seeds that you do sow into your children. I can use them. I could do so much with your little. Just give me the little that I ask of you, and honor the rest, right? Trust the support system I've sent for you. Trust the people that I have around you. Trust the husband that I have blessed your covenant with, right? And trust the spirit that I have that is always with them. Trust in your prayers when you're with them and when you're not with them, right? Trust in the seeds that you sow, in every conversation with them, the love that's on display in your home. You could trust me with it. And in the places where you're not present, and on the days where you're working really hard, trust that that gets to be used for good too. They get to see not only the grandeur of possibility, they also get to see the evidence and that actual process of what faith at works really looks like in the wilderness. We will always fall short. All fall short of the glory of God. Yet He uses all things for the good of those who love Him and are called according to His purpose. And so I resonate with the season that Solomon was in when he said everything is meaningless. But it was just a season. It was just a season. That statement alone can be redefined in so many different ways depending on how you read it. And he said a whole lot of other stuff too that I wouldn't necessarily hang on a poster and hang it up in my wall. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I want to take a moment and, like, it's crazy that you're here right now, really to be honest.
No, it really is.
Like, you weren't supposed to be here. And yet here you are sitting with us having this conversation. And I can see that something in my story triggered something in you. And the shame that you're experiencing right now, that gets to be left behind here too. It was brought up so that you could feel it, you could experience it, and you could release it. We had smaller conversation. This conversation was not what we had even talked about right before. But you're exactly where you need to be. Where your feet are right now is where you need to be. And I would bring your burdens to the feet of your Father and be like, God, the weight of motherhood and business and marriage and family and friendship and all of these things feel really heavy. What weight am I carrying that I need to give to you? What is my assignment in this season, knowing that it's temporary? There are that season I was like hustle and grind, hustle and grind, hustle and grind, and nobody around me in my immediate like my family, my parents, like they didn't understand. They didn't understand what God was doing in me. And I don't carry shame for the time I didn't spend with my children, right? I leave that behind because what is that? That's only going to take from me. That's only going to deter me from my assignment. Whether or not I was supposed to spend more time with my children is irrelevant. It's irrelevant today. Who am I supposed to be today? And can I trust that those parts of my story, God has his hand on me still? The faith of this walk, being an entrepreneur, has nothing to do with what we can carry. It is literally just a constant surrender of the weight that we try to pick back up again and again and again. It's constantly being like, I tried to carry it again, Lord, here you go. Oh, I'm trying to carry it again, Lord, here you go. Like, that's what entrepreneurship really is. It's alleviating the things that we want to control. It's alleviating that weight. And the second we pick it back up, that becomes our hindrance. That becomes what makes it so heavy. That is what makes us so weary. It does get, and I'm not even going to use the word hard, but we're gonna face some giants. But even in the giants that you face, we also get to stand in the truth that the giants that you're facing right now, it's already done. It's already taken care of. The Lord has already gone before you and defeated them on your behalf. You just got to go conquer the land that he's promising you now. You just got to go get be on your territory because they don't belong there. I don't know what your days today looks like. And I don't know what all of your situation. We just started working together. We had one session. You can count this as 1.5. I don't know what your story is, Judith, but like, you're so not alone. Yeah. You're not alone. You're doing an amazing job. Thank you. You are. And I believe that about you. I genuinely believe that about you. The way that you're going to church, the way that you're prioritizing your faith, the way that you are asking questions and showing up in community, the way that you're pushing yourself out your comfort zone, everything that you're doing right now is stretching you. That's a lot to carry. That requires so much to be in so many different areas of unknown and uncertainty at one time. You're doing an amazing job.
I'm gonna go ugly cry in my car.
And on the other side of it, we're gonna pop champagne with you. On the other side of every answered prayer.
Thank you. Did I ruin the vibe?
No, I feel relieved now.
For you, for me. Like it honestly is like relieving just to like, I don't think that we react in that way, like publicly, like we don't release. And so just to even like experience like your vulnerability it's refreshing. Not to say that I want you to cry, but I could see that you're also doing, what you need to do. And I do see you moving in the direction that you're supposed to be going in. I can feel it.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm also a crybaby, okay? I'm just always crying.
Girl, we cry here.
And ugly cry, like you said. I ugly cried on a call maybe 2 weeks into Resurrected.
Even when people say this, I tell people, I think I have a crying anointing. Because even people who say, I'm not going to cry, I don't cry, I'm not going to cry, they always cry. Every time. The people who are the most resistant to crying always end up crying. I'm like, why do you even just
Why fight it?
just be open to the experience. Be open to it. But I think like there's something, it's literally just a release, like you said. Like I love that word because it's a release. Like it's vocalizing what would have stayed stuck inside your body somewhere.
And I think on our call on Tuesday, you had said something along the lines of whoever I was before to like let it go, you know. And when I was sitting with my husband, he didn't even know what the call was about. I just told him I'm going to call, and so when I came back and I was telling him a little bit of that, and even then I felt like I wanted to cry, and I hope he understands too that I don't mean like past relationships or anything like that. It's just like the version of me that you were talking about, the one that I think that I don't belong in these rooms, or that I can't have a successful business, or that I can't be a good mom at the same time. Like all those doubts that I have, when you told me that, I felt like that's what I need to let go. You know, letting go of just anything that doesn't serve me now or that will serve me later. And that's what that felt like for me when we were on our call and you had said that. Like, it was such few words, right? Just like, let go of the Judith you knew before. But that meant so much because we all have, you know, our story, our past. And the weird thing is that when you did say that and I imagined it in my head, it was almost as if I didn't want to. It was so weird. Like, I can picture myself like no, you know, like, and I have no idea why. Like, why am I connected to the pain and the hurt and things that didn't even serve me? Or why don't I even just praise myself for the good things that I have done? Because I didn't just get here from one day to another neither, you know? I worked really hard too, but I never give myself grace, you know? And I'm just like, that person has to go, you know? Because it is carrying that burden. It's always me against me, my husband always says. He's like, it's just you versus you. And it's so true. I'm just like, get out of my own head. Don't be that Judith anymore. Like, I am new. I was baptized on Easter. I am new. You know, I'm just so new, and I'm like a baby right now. I'm like learning. You know, I'm just learning everything all over again.
Babies learn the fastest.
And I'm a teenager. I don't know.
Babies learn the fastest. Babies are sponges. They learn. So it's like you're so vulnerable, but like your capacity for growth is so incredible at this stage.
Yeah.
Like, honor this stage. It's when you got a few scars that take place on the other side of that where people start to become stagnant, you know?
Yeah.
Like you said something earlier, Quanisha, you were like, God will not be mocked, right? He's a respecter of principles. Not of persons, of principles. And I'm speaking this over you. You're going to walk away a different woman than the way that you came because of this community.
Yeah.
And it's not because I'm a magic miracle worker and like some superhero who can just do anything. It's because, one, you've already decided it for yourself. And two, the people in this room are committed to it with you. So even if you don't even try, if you just keep showing up and doing what you originally said you were going to do and just participate, you're going to leave a different woman than you came. I believe you already have.
Yeah, I believe so too.
I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for sharing and like breaking the crying ice outside of me, you know. Me and Desiree been crying.
Yeah.
We cry every time.
Yeah, I cry all the time.
Like, you know who the criers are in the community already.
Well, I gave that one a pass my first weekend, and you guys know who it is.
We have another one. I just want to say, ladies, I appreciate everything that you brought into this conversation. We're missing two ladies, and it's so interesting because this was not the dynamic I was expecting. But when I was talking to Shai about what I wanted this to be, it was exactly this. It was where we talk about the real deal and we spill the tea and we have, powerful conversations. And at the same time, there's room where it's like if someone is having a moment in conversation like you would if you were having coffee with a friend,
Yeah.
that there's a space that's created where that's not only allowed, it's natural. It comes as naturally as it would if you were talking to a friend. And it didn't feel like after a while into the conversation, I'm like, it didn't even really feel like the cameras were there. It
That's
just
exactly
felt
what I
like,
was gonna say. It was like as if we were just like
Yeah.
you know, as a group chatting like.
yeah. So I want to, we're not gonna do a checkout. We're gonna do a kind of checkout, but how it's gonna be is I just want you to give your last words, and I want you to say whatever is present for you to close this out.
I would say for me, Judith, you said that, I believe you said something about being a teenager. Like instead of being a baby, now you're a teenager. But I just want to say one last thing, that just think of your last week of growth and how Natalie said babies are sponges. And so don't, even right there, give yourself the grace, because take yourself back to that baby. You're not a teenager. You're still that baby who is learning and who is growing. And when I first came into this community, I was so scared to be seen. And Natalie, you really made that present for me. You know, that is truly what it was for me, is I was still afraid to be seen. And I did not think that I belonged here, because my business is so different than everyone else's businesses here. And Natalie told me, she was like, what you are doing is what you are doing, and you can't look at everybody else, because that is what you are doing. So you belong. And thank you for creating a space for me to belong as well.
I think what's most present for me right now is just like be present, accept what is, and trust like God is writing your story. He has written the story. Like, just relax, girl, chill out. Like, just accept and enjoy wherever you are.
I would say that I am leaving feeling very spirited and connected to each one of you guys and everybody that has been here today, from like production to just talking to everybody, just feeling at my spirit. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm moving forward in a more clear direction, and I'm happy with my decisions that I've made this far. Even though I'm still figuring them out. You know, we talked about sewing. I'm still sewing a lot of things in my life, but I'm just feeling at ease too. So I'm excited for what's to come from here. This is a big day.
I'm feeling just full. Very full. The last couple weeks have been, I felt like a lot of energy flowing through me. Like I was explaining that when I first got here, I was like, I feel like just like, I didn't want to say anxiousness, because it wasn't anxiousness. It was like this excitement, or like something's brewing, like something's happening, something's going to pop off.
I love it.
And I'm just feeling so full after this day. Like, this is exactly where I need to be. I just have to trust the process. Everything always works out better than I have ever imagined. So I'm just going to keep going.
Yeah, and I can piggyback off of what you said, because we were having that conversation of just, you know, like belonging here. And just for me, all I can think about for my ending is like, God has made me as new. And like, just that, you know, God has made me as new. And I have been really excited too. That's exactly what I was trying to say. That I've been excited, and it almost like if you know, like, oh, the next day you're gonna do something, but there's like nothing that I know is gonna happen. And I tell my husband all the
You're
time,
gonna
like,
do something tomorrow.
I'm like, I'm
Whoa,
excited.
what was gonna
Like, I'm
be?
just so excited for life, you know, because I
Yeah.
know life is so beautiful, and I know like so many great things are gonna happen, and I'm just excited to like find out what they are.
That's good. I love that. Bring back more of that joy.
Yes.
What is present for me? Man, my body is now tired. That is for sure present for me. And I can see it in Shy's face too. She's been holding it down since 8 a.m. I'm grateful. Like, I'm grateful. I think I'm a little mind blown too. Like, I'm a little, like, I'm in awe of, like, sometimes you forget how far you've come. And I've been so focused on, like, where God is leading me and, like, the next step and the next evolution, which is so exciting, you know, even if it is uncertain. But, like, I think this was good for me to look back and remember, like, oh, dang. I, like, actually remembered in my body what it felt like. So I felt grateful. I felt grateful for you, ladies, for just being so sincere. Like, I belong. And I think that's such a unique experience for a coach to truly belong to her own community, you know. So it's an underrated blessing, you know, feeling like God's favorite right now, low key. Like, dang, God, you really love me. You really see me. Oh, man. Anyways, that concludes our first ever Sister Circle Full Circle video. If you're watching this, the name will be decided, but just know in real time it's undecided. We don't know what we're gonna call this yet. We're gonna marinate on it, but either way, you get the vibe, you get what this is meant to be, and I thank you for riding with us till the end. I hope that this encouraged you. I hope that this inspired you. I hope that if nothing else, that you can watch this video and think to yourself and confirm in yourself that you're not alone. You are exactly where you are meant to be. And I pray that as you watch this, you have your own full circle moments.